okay that I'm recording. There we are. I'll come up. Perfect. Right. So welcome. So welcome to everybody. It almost felt like a spring day today, what I saw of it. It was cold, but it was lovely. So, right, we're going to start in seated, and I've got a flow session tonight and a little balance that we're going to add in, so which suits. So hopefully you enjoy. And I've got a little bit of, when we do the revolved poses, I've got a bit of unraveling to do with some of the revolved poses, which will help everybody. So we'll see where we go. So just take a moment as we do at the beginning of class, and thank you for joining me. Just allowing yourself just a moment to settle. It seems that everyone's had a very, very busy week. And just allowing just a length through the spine, maybe just gently circling the shoulders or shrugging the shoulders, just so you get to that position where you're comfy. It may be just that you're dropping the head, or just enjoying that stillness. Allowing yourself to focus on the breath. Feeling that connection between the sit bones and the yoga mat. And starting to lengthen the breath. So we're lengthening the inhale and lengthening the exhale. Welcome, Rachel. We're just starting seated. Keep that breath just gently moving. And then we're going to inhale, lift the hands all the way to the sky. We're going to exhale the hands behind us and either gently open the chest or allow yourself to roll gently forwards, just lifting the hips. Drawing yourself all the way back down, forwards we go. Inhale, sweeping the arms. Exhale, hands behind you, lifting the hips, using the palms of the hands if you need to press, and squeezing the shoulder blades together if you want just to draw a little bit of a stretch into this. Drop the hips gently, bring the hands forwards, inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, hands come behind us, and again, your choice, either just gently opening that chest or move through with the hips. All the way back down. And walking the hands out in front of you. So just stretching through. So you can bring hands to fingertips if you wish. Stretching through the sides of the body, stretching through the back. You might feel like you've been at the desk all day or working or doing something. You might feel that walking your hands to one side helps. If you're walking your hands to one side, make sure that hip on the opposite side doesn't lift up. So plant that hip firmly and then stretch. So you're pushing away with the hip. Moving to the other side when you're ready. And again, just watching that hip doesn't lift. So plant the hips down. So those sit bones are still in contact with the ground. all the way back to center. And walk the hands just gently behind you and just take a squeeze of the shoulder blades without lifting the hips. And if you want to, you can take the neck. So you take the chin towards the collarbone and you get a stretch down the side. Just be careful with this. Just across to the other side. And then just gently relax. And we're going to come to all fours. So coming to all fours. We're just going to take a moment just to push into the fingers. So let's get our foundations right at the beginning of practice. Every time we come to the mat, just really aligning ourselves centrally. Same pressure in the hands, strengthening the shoulders, maybe tucking the toes. We're going to inhale, and on the exhale, come to a hovering cat. And if you don't want to come to the hovering cat, then just start taking a little cat-cow yourself, or just circling the hips gently. Firing the core. And then draw the knees down. Come into cow as we drop the belly gently, looking forwards. Exhaling, you might want to untuck the toes, rounding the spine, stretching back if you need, bringing any movement into this. Coming back to that inhale, back to that cat pose. Either tucking the toes, or you can come onto the front of the feet in this pose into a hovering cat. So it's possible to hover this cat with your front of the feet, depending on your ankles. Come all the way down. We're going to extend the left leg long to the end of the mat. And shift our weight forwards and down, just gently pushing our weight towards the mat and gently pushing all the way up. As we bring ourselves up, extend the opposite hand, opposite leg. All the way back down. Swapping sides, right leg extends long. Just take a moment to stretch through that leg, just gently, not overstretching, just mobility, just warming up. And then just coming slightly forwards, bending the elbows, and then dipping at the arms. Pushing all the way back up. And as we flow through, lifting the leg out from the body. And see if you want to bring a little stretch. Make sure that hand is not really overstretched. Draw it back into the body just a little so you're softening. And the gaze is all the way down to the floor in between the thumbs. All the way back. Bring just the knees underneath you. Take a moment, as we always do, just to give the wrists a little bit of love. Breakdancing moves allowed. Obviously with the wrists, not on your hands, because you're giving your wrists a bit of a break, unless you feel like you want to. And just rubbing the hands together, just getting a bit of flow. We're going to come into a little bit of flow just to warm up. So come to flat back and come into that lovely hovering cat. And I say lovely hovering cat, for some it might not be. And we're going to come to downward facing dog, or all fours if you wish, or malasana. I'm giving alternatives just for a few who might wish to choose. And come into downward facing dog, padding the feet out. Maybe just working, lifting the knees slightly. And then come to stillness, focus on the breath. Strong hands, strong arms, strong shoulders. Soften the knees, hips to the sky. Just allowing the neck to relax.
And then we're going to walk the hands to the back of the mat, coming into a forward fold. Now in your forward fold, you can keep the knees really bent and allow the thighs and the belly to meet. You might wish to bring this to a wide fold if you've got a wee little bump with you. So bring the feet, give yourself space. And allow the head just to dangle softly with the breath. And on our flat back, we're going to inhale to airplane arms, flat back. So we're going to inhale all the way up to airplane arms, flat back. Dead flying up. And to come up, what we're going to do is we're going to soften the knees and sweep the hands forwards all the way, lifting all the way to upward salute. On our next exhale, we're going to sweep the hands all the way to flat back. Bring them all the way to the mat into Uttanasana. Walk the hands all the way forwards into plank. Bring yourself into downward facing dog, bending the knees, lifting the hips, strong hands, shoulders. And then either coming into tripod leg, and we're coming to the front of the mat. So you can choose to sweep a leg through if you wish and join yourself at the top of the mat, or just hop through into Uttanasana. Lots of choices. We're going to inhale flat back with our hands, airplane arms, lovely straight length. And then soften the knees, inhale, lift all the way up. Coming to mountain, hands to the heart. And then bring the hands just by your side. Adjust anything, sips of water if you need. Allow yourself just to take a moment. You might shake the legs out. I did my first CrossFit session and I thought I'd got away with it. I thought the next day I was like, yeah, it doesn't hurt. Yes, excellent. And then today, I woke up this morning and went, oh. So I'm just going to shake my legs out, even if you're not going to. So here we go. We're just going to play here. Bring the hands to prayer. Feel the heels of the hands together gently. Maybe the toes come towards each other slightly with a gap at the heels. Take a pause. And we're going to inhale, lifting our hands to high prayer. Again, just let the breath flow. Before we move, we'll inhale again to the exhale. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, sweep the hands behind you, coming into a chair position, but with the hands just behind you. Sweeping the hands into chair, Utkatasana. Going to do this a couple of times. We come into chair, tucking the tailbone gently by engaging the core. We're going to shift the weight to our left foot and our right knee is going to come up. So here we've got a balance. If you need a chair at all, just grab one. We're going to sweep the hands behind us. Virabhadrasana 3, arms back. That back foot can be as low as you need, or you can lift and locus the body into warrior 3. Keep those hips square to the front. So if you feel that your hips, the hip of the extended leg, and we're going to do this flow a bit. So if you feel that hip is just turning back slightly off kilter, what I want you to do is really square the hips forwards so that when you come into this warrior 3, bend that knee if you need to. You have square hips. So you can feel it if that hip starts to point out the way, and use your hands to feel your hips. So you've got that square facing forwards, and we're going to bend that knee just a little into balance. If you've got any knee issues, that might not be for you. Okay, We're going to bring our hands down and step with that back foot to runner's lunge. Nice big stretch in runner's lunge. You okay there? Good. Excellent. And we're going to take a little vinyasa here. So stepping to plank. You're working with your right hand side at the moment. That's the knee that we lifted. So if you're wanting to come into any one-legged version of vinyasa, a funky vinyasa, you're very welcome. Or you can keep this straight into your choice. So coming down into Bhujangasana. Totally up to you. Meeting in downward facing dog. So lifting, bending the knees, lifting the hips. Pedaling downward facing dog out. If you're in child's pose, just taking some breaths. We will meet at the top of the mat in Uttanasana, so you can draw yourself up in a minute. Taking inhale in stillness and an exhale. Focusing on the shape of the pose. Inhale and exhale. Coming to the top of the mat, back into forward fold again, bending the knees as much as you need. Take a moment to allow the head just to hang, relaxing the crown of the head to the mat. Inhale, flat back, your version, or you can have arms out. I'm going to have airplane arms today. Bring the weight over the feet. Tendency to go back into the heels. So really plant those toes. Sweeping the hands all the way up high. Hands to the heart. Brilliant. Take a moment back to mountain. Relaxing the shoulders. Really feel that connection with the feet. Hands to Anjali Mudra at the heart. We're going to weight the left foot now. And no, we're not. We're going to go hands to high prayer, sorry. Inhaling all the way up. And exhaling, hands come behind us as we sink to chair. I nearly missed out on Utkatasana. That would have been awful for you. Inhale into chair. As we do, we're going to weight the right foot now. Bring the left knee all the way up towards the chest. Opening the chest. Transition to warrior 3. So hands can come where you're comfy. For some, that will be to the heart. For some, that will be behind. Some will be full Virabhadrasana 3 with the arms stretched. Think about those hips again. If you're wobbling and you're thinking hips, just bring your hands down just gently and just feel where that back leg is. And then coming down to runner's lunge. Just bending and softening that knee. Coming into runner's lunge where you can get a nice stretch down the back of the leg. And then vinyasa or child's pose. Again, if you came for a funky little vinyasa with one leg, you can come up and over and in. I can feel that in my arms. All the way up to downward facing dog. That was really lovely, Grant. Take a moment in downward facing dog. Anchor the left foot, lift the right to the sky into tripod. Bring that right foot all the way forwards to the top of the mat. And push up into a high lunge, arms stretched. And then inhale, lift, high lunge. Hands to the heart. Now here we're just going to explore. I'm going to add this all into the flow. So it's just a wee teaching point here. So when we do any revolved pose, what we're trying to do is we're not trying to revolve from the lower spine. And it's the same when we're doing camel pose. And I'm going to talk while you're all holding a balance. What we're trying to do, put your foot across if you need to. What we're going to try and do is do the any twist or revolve pose from thoracic spine. Okay, so across the back, rather than twisting from the lower back. So the way we do that is we're keeping ourselves forwards, so hips are forwards. And if you just bring yourself forward slightly, you're also going to keep your heel pointing to the back of the mat. And Lishka, you can do this a little bit, but it's probably just the balance that you're going to play with. When you come into a little revolve pose, often we try and hook as much as we can, and then we feel the twist down here. What I want you to do is I want you to just turn into revolve pose and feel this between the shoulder blades start to turn rather than the lower back. Okay, can you feel the difference? You might be careful if you try one because you'll be twisting from down here. So if we twist as much as we can, you can see that my heel goes off to the left-hand side of the mat. And I'm now feeling the pressure on my lower rump, basically, okay? And that joint. So what I'm encouraging you to do is keep these revolve poses so that when we turn, that heel is back, we weight that front foot, and you're turning and you can feel it across the back. You don't have to go the whole way, and you might not be able to. It's a slightly different revolve pose. Try it on the other side so we don't walk out of here sideways. So come to a high lunge on the other side. Now, the easiest way to make sure that we're not turning into this is weight that front foot a little bit by coming forwards, keeping the heel to the back of the mat. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, feel that turn and that revolving twist from across the back in the midline, mid-thoracic, rather than the base of the spine. Okay? Can you feel the difference? It's very different. And you tell I'm being lectured by the osteopath, which is a really good thing for you. And it's always a learning day, isn't it? All these different things you put in. But that will give you a much healthier twist when we're doing revolve twists than putting pressure on the lower kind of part of our body, which is not where we're supposed to be twisting from. It's here. It will also give you a bit of relief if you're a desk girl like me, or a desk gent, and you're doing a lot of this or a lot of this, because it's giving you that movement, just gentle movement of the thoracic spine, and now a little like Tommy Cooper. So I haven't got the red hat. Oh, we're on one today. So we're going to come to the top of the mat. I'll do a magic trick next. And we're just going to take a moment in mountain. Bring the hands gently together. Inhale, lift all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hand to the heart. Sweep the hands behind you. Sink into that chair position with the feet inhaling, Utkatasana, tucking just the tailbone. Bring the hands gently down to the mat. Leave the left foot at the front. Step back to runner's lunge, just so we can just even up our sides. Planting the hands, stepping to plank. Moving to downward facing dog. Coming back to the center. All the way, stepping the feet all the way to the front of the mat. Into forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, all the way up, unless you'd like to roll up I'm just swinging up, but if you'd like to roll up, do. Hands at the heart. Take a moment here, weight the left foot as we lift to high prayer. We're going to draw that right foot all the way up to the chest. Excellent. Open that front body. Virabhadrasana 3. High lunge as we bring our hands all the way forwards, and as we do, bend the knee if you need, slightly at the back. Hands gently to the heart. So we're going to take a little revolve pose across to the knee. So we inhale. Concentrate on that turn, just gently in that thoracic spine, weighting slightly down. You might find that you're not going nearly as far across. All the way back to center. Hands frame the foot, coming to runner's lunge. Plant that right hand and take an easy twist here. You can do this with the knee down to soften the pose. All the way down. We're going to sweep this left foot now to a tripod. Now I'm going to give you two options. You can take a side plank where you come down and you use the middle knee underneath to support you on a side plank. So I'm just going to show you that very quickly. So we come into a supported side plank. Or that left foot, okay, moving the left hand into the center, the left leg is going to come through into a side plank variation. So we're building up a little flow here. And you can always support that foot on the floor. So you're actually coming to little, almost like a falling triangle. Okay. All the way back to center, back to tripod. And then scoot that foot all the way up to the top of the mat, back to that runner's lunge. And then take a moment here, just rocking back and forwards. Just take a little rock before you come up to a fold, into a flat back. And then however you come all the way up, I'm going to bend the knees to lift, but you can root to rise. Hands to the heart. Anchor the right foot, and as we lift the hands all to high prayer, draw up on the other side now. Bring yourself to Virabhadrasana 3. Bring your hands down, stepping back to run. Oh, we didn't do high lunge. Sorry, that's fine. We're runner's lunge. Push all the way up to high lunge. And this time, hands to the heart. Bring your weight gently forwards. And when you're ready, when you inhale to exhale to that kind of twist, make sure that you're twisting across the back, midline rather than the base. And then you'll get a twist across the thoracic spine. Keep breathing here. All the way back to center, hands plant. Take a moment just in that runner's lunge, and then that right leg is now going to come all the way up to tripod. Option for that right knee to come onto the mat pivot and take a variation of a side plank, or move that right hand gently across and kick that right foot underneath the left arm, extending the left arm into a side plank variation. Always plant that foot on the floor. Turn all the way back, stepping into a plank. Child's pose if you want to take a rest, or come to a forearm plank. Knees can soften this if you wish. Bringing the knees gently down, and then walk yourself back to a child's pose, whether that's extended knees and crossing the hands. Allow yourself just some time in child's pose, just to inhale and exhale. Allow that breath to fill the body. Gently pushing yourself back up, walking the hands forwards, maybe to a stacked back position. Tucking the toes from stacked back, we're going to come to hovering cat. Hovering cat, either to downward facing dog or an alternative if you're taking it. And that hovering cat allows you the hips to rise up. So you're really keeping those hips high. Bend the knees, look forwards. We're going to come to the top of the mat. Into forward fold, your version. Here, you might even want to take peace fingers. So that's the first and second finger around the toes. Push the toes into the mat, and you might feel that you want to just allow a bit of a stretch. So you can push those toes into the mat. Those fingers get squashed. A forward fold should be stretching the hamstrings, and it should also be stretching the lower back. But some people find it, including me, find it quite challenging sometimes to do both. So we soften the legs, which gives you a lower back stretch in Uttanasana. And then as you straighten the legs into flat back, you get your hamstring stretch. So it's possible to do both, but just depends on your body. Does that help? Yeah. Inhale, flat back. So this is where often then you will get that stretch all the way down the back of the legs, keeping the weight. You okay? Take the chair if you need. And then sweep all the way up. Inhale, lift. And hands to the heart. So it's a very good question. It's a really good question, because that then gives you, because we've warmed up a bit, using the fingers in that Uttanasana gives you then the ability to stretch the lower back and stretch the hamstrings, because you've warmed up a bit. But for me, I have a few lower back issues going on at the moment. So to stretch the hamstrings and the back at the same time, my body just says I don't like it. And actually over time doing that constantly. So the good practice is allowing your kind of belly to come to thigh as much as you need, but keep your weight over. And then you've got the best of both worlds. Wherever you choose your flat back to be, you've got that lovely straight line. So, and that's just the thing. So we're standing, so we might as well do a balance. And Vicky has her sticky socks. So we're going to give Vicky a moment. I should turn the camera so that you could see Vicky with her sticky socks. So Vicky's going to cheat. And we're all going to watch. Sorry if you're not online and you can't see this, but I'll give you the running commentary. So whether it works or not, we're going to look at one of my favorites, and it's tree pose. And the reason is it's that really long line balance, and it gives us such concentration, and it's always been my favorite. So, but it's a challenging one. So we're going to find our balance in mountain. And if you have a chair at home or a side, please feel free to use that. Now, in our mountain pose, We're going to really become aware of the connection between the heels, the toes, the side of the foot, and that lift through the front body. Relaxing the shoulders, the top body. Bringing hands together at the heart. Just to ease the weight off our right hip, we're going to just bring our weight onto our left foot, our standing foot. And then just soften the knee. Just this time, just lift the knee towards you. And with the hands, just take the hands and just grab the knee gently into the body. It's time for little ankle love. Just return the knee, hands to the heart. Anchor the right hand side. Lifting the left all the way up. Draw the hands again to the knee, just allowing a little bit of height. Just waking up, being aware of the muscles you're using here. How's the core feeling? Is she off balance? And come back to standing. Now again, if you want to go into a tree variation, remember you can start to slide your foot up the leg. I generally don't really consider when we push our foot against a joint that being particularly healthy. So I generally, if your foot is by the joint, I would just say, just slide it down. Or use the wall and try and work the foot up. So now we're going to come back to mountain. Weighting the left side, allowing the right knee to come up. And then start to move that knee out to the side. And here is where either you're going to plant the foot or you're going to just take that foot gently and just push into, meet the thigh with the sole of the foot. And that hip is open. There's that. So you've got, so that's it. We'll unravel. So if you're playing with this at home, you can play with lots of different balances in here as well. Try, if you've got the balance, try extending your arms up, play with the drishti, your choice. You can play bending tree, just play around with the pose at the moment. So if you're just thinking about that foot, lift all the way up and out to the side so you can feel the hip flexors. Okay, so that foot, toes pointing down. Then just gently take that foot, keeping that knee out to the side. So as soon as you start to let it in that way, it's going to slip. So keep the knee out gently to the side. Get in there. And then open up. Another tip here for balance is to open up the core. Get there. We'll get there. That's something, see, we can work on. We'll have you doing that, okay? So wherever you are, that drishti, that's it, that's the movement that you need to practice. And then gently release the leg back. Shuffle the knees if you need. Allowing yourself just a moment to come back to center. So that practice of this movement, lifting the knee up and then also lifting the knee out to the side is a really good one if you want to really improve the hip flexors and to strengthen them. So find your balance again. Anchor the right foot. Gently lift the left up. And again on the other side. And if you're wobbling, just if you're working and you're just wanting to work on that foot, just allow yourself to come to a wall. And you can use that to support maybe the knee. It's lovely. Use the wall, Vicky. I know you won't, but use the wall.
That's it. Does that help on that side? Yeah. Very, very calming pose. Using sole of the foot really to anchor. How are you doing there? Slip sliding. I'll just bring some gaffer tape next time. If you've got gaffer tape at home, consider it not cheating. And then allow yourself just to come back to center. Allow yourself to come to the top of the mat. Draw the shoulders gently down. You okay? Inhale, hands to the heart. Sweep the hands, inhale, lift. Exhale, airplane arms. We're going to come all the way into chair, so sweep all the way forward. So really sink low if you want to. Tuck that tailbone in. Bring the hands gently to the mat, step to runner's lunge. Bring the left knee down now, or whatever knee is at the back, and draw that down to low lunge. And sweep all the way up, pushing through the feet into low lunge. The opposite hand to the knee is going to come all the way. And you can just step the back knee up, just a bit of a stretch here. And if you want to, you can bring this into a twist towards the knee. And again, use that revolving information that you've got now about the body. So don't let that back heel go to one side. Let it stay at the back of the mat and open up that chest, feeling that revolving coming from the thoracic spine. Bring your hand down, frame the foot, bring the knee all the way down. Now we're going to lift that knee up. So if you've got a blanket and you want to put something under your knee, please do. And then we're going to take the left hand out to the front and sweep it round. If you can, catch the foot. If not, just open that side of the body. You might catch the foot and you might come into a little balance. Really working the legs. You're doing great, Guns, Alishka. Lovely poses at home too. And all the way back down to the mat. We're going to just take a little runner's lunge, stretch through that leg. And then step to plank. Feeling the legs working there. Now you can come to a full Chaturanga Dandasana if you wish, to up dog if that's your practice, or soften it. Meeting in downward facing dog. Bending the knees, stepping or floating, hopping to the top of the mat. Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, rise. Root to rise or sweeping up. Sweep the hands behind you. Utkatasana, sink into that chair. Excellent. Hands to the heart. Sink a little deeper. And then you're going to step to runner's lunge on the opposite side. Take a moment in runner's lunge. Now we're going to come to that twist. So again, that revolving pose. Don't let that back heel drop to the side of the mat. As we open up, push through that front foot. So you're really strong, and then open. That's it. Bring the hand back to frame the foot, drop that back knee. Allow that back foot to come up. Extend the hand on the same side. And if you want to, sweep it back and come to
can always rest your hand on the front knee, grabbing the foot behind if you have that, or you can just hold. This is where sometimes straps come in quite useful. If you've got a stuck scarf or something, really push into that front foot so you're really working the leg. You okay there, Sally? Good. Or the way, we're going to come to child's pose or take a vinyasa. Again, nice long line in your plank, chaturanga, up dog, meeting in downward facing dog. Walking or hopping to the center of the mat now. Bring the hands so you're in a fold. And then root to rise. So just allow yourself to come up however you wish. Hands to the heart. We're going to come to balance. So we're going to play with dancer. So we're going to bring our standing foot into this and then allow yourself to remember that we're not grabbing. We're actually just allowing that knee to come back, keeping the hips square. So that's really important. It's exactly the same as Virabhadrasana 3 in dancer. You don't want your hip to start opening out to the side. So when we start to just draw our foot back, this is, do I hold the outside? Do I hold the top? Do I hold the inside? And it totally depends on you. Now I hold the outside, grab a wall if you need. I hold the outside of my foot and then sometimes transfer to the top of my foot. But if you're wobbly at all, which clearly I am tonight, allow yourself just to be gentle, bringing the front body down and find a play with a balance. And you can use a chair with this one too, or take a break. Yeah, or you can just work on the chair, just using the knee up and just lifting back and lifting up. So you're actually just gently working a balance, or you can play with dancer if you want to. Yeah. So it's just about playing with shapes at the moment and just seeing where we are, because we've not done it for so long. And I always want to say, like, what comes up, what goes down, you need to work on the other side as well. So play on the other side if you're just having a play with the balance here and just exploring that dancer pose. So you really need to find your central focus in these balances. Allowing yourself to softly bend the leg, standing leg. Bringing yourself into, and that knee pushes up at the back and the foot comes into the hand. That's lovely, Marie. And actually, Sally, you would benefit from a strap like we used to do, because you just put it over your shoulder and just allow. So use yours just to almost a quadricep stretch, just allowing that little softening the leg, and you can play. Just there we are. We've got balancing into the equation tonight. Told you I was going to go off piste. So hopefully you're having fun at home as well. So enjoying. We're going to come back up to mountain. And just take a moment here. Inhale, hands to the heart. Exhale, softening to fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale to plank. Knees to the mat. Sweep the feet to the side and come all the way down to our mat, legs in front. And we're just going to bend our knees. And
we've got time, that's okay. I'm just looking at the time because I've gone totally off where I was going, so that's fine. We're going to play with a little boat. Now, there was something we were doing which was quite fun the other night, and I think it was maybe Tuesday night. I was rolling, so lovely little roll down. This is hurting tonight, all the way down. And then when you come all the way up, you have a little roll. You can roll yourself into a half boat. Now, so you can play just back and forwards, or you can sit and then watch the entertainment in butterfly. So if you're like, I just need a little bit of upright, take yourself into butterfly, or play with that boat pose. And there's lots of variations. Maybe come into full boat. Rolling down. Maybe do a roll down. Back to half boat. Back to full boat. To low boat. You can play around with this. And if you end up in any sort of, if you have a plow pose, or you end up anywhere, that's absolutely fine too. Coming all the way back when you're ready into a little butterfly. And taking a moment here. And sometimes it's nice just to draw length through the spine by just using the hands, or peeling open the feet if you really want to open into the hip flexors. Just allow yourself a moment. And gently bringing the knees together, drawing the legs out long into Dandasana. And allow, you've been playing with flow and balance, so just allow yourself to feel really centered. Hands evenly weighted, tucking the tailbone just gently under, opening the chest. Really finding the helicopter. Back of the legs. Allowing that breath to settle. And we're going to come down into supine twist. So you can choose, you can sit on a seat and do that if you'd like. So we're going to come all the way to our backs. I'll give you the option as well, Ishka. So we're going to come all the way to our backs to constructive rest. And when you're in constructive rest, you may wish to go back and forwards with the knees, or you may just take a full supine twist by stacking the feet, stacking the knees, and coming into supine twist. If you're on the chair, just allowing just that support. Are you comfy there? Good. Excellent. Again, on the chair, you can still just gently come to the edge and just use the knees. That's supine twist, allowing the shoulders to remain in contact with the mat. Coming from one side to the other when you're ready.
And then gradually coming to Shavasana. So if you have socks or a jumper, just allowing yourself to just get cozy. And you may wish to come up into seated. Allowing yourself to settle into relaxation. Allowing yourself to feel the shoulders relax, the arms relax, the hips relax, the legs relax, the toes, the soles of the feet. Bringing that melting feeling to the body. Becoming aware of how you're feeling across the jaw, the eyes, the temple. Inhaling and exhaling. Focusing on that breath. Drawing the breath all the way up from the base of the spine. And pushing the breath all the way back down. And take a couple of goes just with that really conscious inhale and exhale. And then allow, when you're ready, that breath just to melt away. Become a gentle rise and fall. And slowly become aware of your fingers, the palms. Become aware of your toes, the soles of the feet. And if you're in Shavasana, just very slowly prepare yourself to move onto your side when you're ready. And only when you're ready. And just take a moment when you get onto your side, just to pause. Just allow yourself to come very slowly back up, using that top hand to support you. Coming back up to seated, hands gently just onto the knees.
And just observe how you feel here. And bring the hands gently together. Take a lovely big inhale. A lovely big exhale. And thank you so much for joining class, letting me practice with you and joining me online as well. It was lovely to see folk. And just take a moment. I'm going to switch off record and say goodbye to everybody online. So just take a moment and switch off. I shall see you all soon. Yeah, there we are.